and what is good governance, and what are the characteristics of a good governance. Similarly, what is urban governance and characteristics of a good urban governance, and how to achieve a good urban governance. These conceptual aspects so far we have discussed. Today, we are going to discuss in Unit 5, that is urban local bodies. It is related to the structural aspects of urban governance. So the concept of local self-government is not new. Since time immemorial, these local self-governments were existing in India. Particularly, during the Vedic period also, we can find some local self-government bodies named as Janpadas, which are small republics at the time. But in modern period, local self-governments in India refers to governmental jurisdiction below the state level. Below the state level, we will call it as a local self-government, whether it is a rural or urban. Below the state level, jurisdiction is governed by local self-governments. So before going to discuss about this structure, first we have to understand the significance of local self-governments. Local self-governments which are closest to the people, with the administration at the doorsteps, governmental administration at the doorsteps. And it involves day-to-day life of the people and resolve their problems. So local problems are best solved by the local level governments. So the people, local people's day-to-day life, in day-to-day life, whatever the problems they face, they can be resolved best through establishment of local self-governments. So it is very near to the people, closest to the close to the people, and it involves day-to-day life of people to resolve their grievances, citizens' grievances. Another important feature of local self-government is local people's participation in governmental activities. So the local people have ample opportunity to participate in planning and implementation of the developmental programs at the local level, because the local people know best what is good for them. So with the assumption that the local people are well aware of what they need, based on that, we will articulate the developmental programs and plans to resolve the needed problems faced by the local people. So local participation, the people will participate actively to resolve their problems. So we can inculcate a kind of participative approach among the people to involve in the governmental process. So local self-government includes both rural and urban local bodies. But our discussion is only confined to urban local bodies, since our paper is urban governance. So if you see the evolution of the urban local bodies in India, in modern period in India, these bodies have become political institutions established during the British period. Specifically, there are 4 acts which contributed for emergence of urban local bodies and rural local bodies in India during the British period. They are first Mayo's Resolution 1870 and second Lord Ripon's Resolution 1882 and third Government of India Act 1919 and fourth Government of India Act 1935. These four are landmarks for evolution of urban local governments and rural local governments in India. That's why Lord Ripon used to call as father of local governments in India. But there is a major criticism on the local self-government's functioning. That is, these institutions, which are working below the state level, are controlled by higher level governments. They will dance according to the tune of higher level governments. That is, either it may be a state government or a central government, mostly a state government, because its control and supervision is governed by higher level government, particularly the state government. As a result, though we will call it as a democratic institutions and independent institutions, it's only on paper, but in practice, you can see which are controlled and supervised and monitored by the higher level government, specifically the concerned state government. But now the case is different. After 1992, there is a change in functioning of urban local bodies and rural local bodies because of enactment of landmark constitutional amendments, 73rd and 74 constitutional amendments. And 73 constitutional amendments, once again I am telling, which are related to the rural local bodies, whereas the 74th constitutional amendment is related to urban local bodies. So these acts, 73 and 74 constitutional amendments, which are given a constitutional status to the local government bodies, then it has become almost a third tier in the governmental structure. The first tier, at the top level, there is central government, at the middle level, state government, and lower level, the local self-governments, that is urban local bodies and rural local bodies. So like that, the 74th and 73rd and 74th constitutional amendment has given a constitutional status to these institutions, the local bodies, and some functions also specified through some schedules, 11th and 12th schedule, 11th schedule in 73rd constitutional amendment and 12th schedule in 74th constitutional amendment. They specified certain functions to these bodies. So the scenario has changed after the implementation of the 73rd and 74th constitutional bodies, 73 and 74 constitutional amendments. Accordingly, the state governments also amended their state acts, state municipal acts, and state local governments acts. Particularly in the 74th constitutional amendment, in the a list of 18 functions are assigned to urban local bodies by 12th schedule of the constitutional amendment. So far we have understand how the urban local bodies are emerged in India and what is its status as on today. Now all these urban local bodies are governed by the 74th constitutional amendment. As a result, we can see a uniform administrative structure in almost all states with some exceptions. So first we will know the types of urban local bodies in India. As per the Act of 74th Constitutional Amendment, Article 243 provides that there are three types of municipalities. There are three types of municipalities in the country. Okay? The municipal areas governed by these three municipalities. One, Nagar Panchayat. One is Nagar Panchayat. This means a Nagar Panchayat is that it is related to a transitional area. Transitional area means an area is changing from rural characteristics to urban characteristics, which are not completely rural, at the same time, which are not completely urban. Both the characteristics exist together in such areas, which are in transition. That means from rural areas to urban areas, which are in the transformation form. Such areas are covered by Nagar Panchayat. And second, a small urban area, that means towns, which are governed by municipal council, which is also, we will also call it as a municipality. A small towns are governed by smaller urban areas are governed by municipalities, which is also called municipal council. And larger urban areas, that means cities and larger urban areas like cities, metropolitan cities, which are governed by municipal corporations. So broadly, we can say Nagar Panchayat and Municipal Council for small towns, Nagar Panchayats for transitional areas, and municipal corporations for the larger urban areas such as metropolities and cities. These are all governing it. There is a developmental organizations are different. That means urban development authorities are there. Metropolitan development authorities are there. Those are all development related. We are discussing about the governance aspects, the areas which are governed by these institutions. But in addition to these, we can also found the cantonment board area, cantonment board. That means that area is controlled by Defense Minister of Central Government. In Hyderabad, we are having cantonment areas, cantonment board. Similarly, town committees. So these are all to govern certain urban areas. These institutions also we can find here and there. But what is the criteria for different types? So whether it is how we can decide whether whether that area is a municipality, or a municipal corporation, or a cantonment board, or a Nagar Panchayat. So what is the criteria to decide these types? So there are 5 criteria generally to decide the type of the urban local body. First, population size. If population size is very high, then it will be either city or a metropolitan. So we will create a corporation, municipal corporation. So the size of the population, if it is a small size, so as per census, we already discussed, if there is a 5,000 population is there, then that is one of the characteristics to decide the urban area. So if the population is small, we will call it as a town that is governed by municipality. So the first criteria to decide the type of the urban local body is one, political, this population size. Second, density of population. That means per kilometer, how many people are living. If it is more than 400, we'll call it as an urban, as per census. So that's why the density of population, the more people living in a less area, land. So the density of population, that is also another criteria to decide urban local body, the type of urban local body, whether it is a municipality or a municipal corporation or a nagar panchayat or a cantonment. And the third one is revenue generation. How much revenue generating in a particular area. Based on that, we will categorize the municipalities, grade 1 municipalities, special grade municipalities, grade 1, grade 2, grade 3, like that, various types of municipalities. Within the municipalities, there are various types of municipalities are there, which are decided based on the income generation. So income generation also plays an important criteria to decide the type of urban local body. And fourth, percentage of employment in non-agricultural services or activities. So in urban areas, in the first class itself, we have discussed that. Urban area means there is a people mostly employed in non-agricultural sectors. So that's why the percentage of employment in non-agricultural sectors or activities, if the people are high, then that also will be decided by the type of municipality, the type of urban local bodies. That means percentage of employment in non-agricultural areas or non-agricultural sector and activities. This is another criteria to decide the type of the urban local bodies. And the last, the economic importance. The economic importance, that means the trade and business, for example, Mumbai and Bangalore. So we can see some of the cities which are more economic activities going on in that particular city and town. That is commercialization, particularly in Coimbatore, like that. If you see certain areas, certain cities which are more commercial, more economic oriented, and sometimes the temple cities also, there is we will call it urban areas based on that, what we can call it, temple cities. So like this, the economic importance also another criteria to decide the different types of type of a urban local. So these broadly we can say these five. One is population size, and second is the density of population, and third is the revenue generation, and fourth, percentage of employment, percentage of people employed in non-agricultural activities, and fifth, the economic importance of the place. So due to the implementation of 74th Constitutional Amendment, all states in the country have three types of urban local bodies: nagar panchayats, municipalities, and municipal corporations. But there may be some exceptions here and there, as I said. For example, in Telangana Municipal Act 2019 provides only two types of urban local bodies in Telangana, that is municipalities and municipal corporations. as per Telangana Municipal Act 2019, we have only two types of urban local bodies in Telangana. That is, one is municipal council, that is municipality, and another is the municipal corporation. Similarly, in Kerala, the Act specifies three types of urban local bodies, but in practice, there exist only two types of urban local bodies, that is municipal corporations and municipalities. So like this, here and there, you can find some variation, but broadly, the 74th Constitutional Amendment contribution is to bring a uniform urban local bodies structure throughout the country. Then another thing what we have to discuss is the governance in these municipalities or municipal corporations, how the governance will be. So in municipal administration structure, there consists of two wings. One is deliberative wing and executive wing. So what is deliberative wing and what is executive wing? Deliberative wing means policy making is the main job of deliberative wing. And policy implementation is the job of executive wing. So the deliberative wing formulate the policies and programs which are implemented by the executive. So in municipal administration also, we have two wings, that is deliberative wing and executive wing. And in deliberative wing consists of municipal council, chairperson, ward committee, mayor, and area sabhas. These constitutes the deliberative wing of urban local bodies. Once again, I repeat, the deliberative wing of urban local bodies consists of municipal council, chairperson or mayor, ward committee, and area sabhas. These constitute the deliberative wing of urban local bodies. And executive wing consists of officials headed by the commissioner. Officials headed by the commissioner, municipal commissioner. So that is a deliberative wing. That is executive wing. So deliberative wing and executive wing, these are two wheels for the vehicle of a urban local body. So in municipal council, which comes under deliberative wing of urban local bodies, which is a body of institution consists of representatives of the elected people of that municipality. So for this purpose, municipality is divided into number of wards. From each ward, one person, the people will elect to as their representative to this municipal council. So they are people's representatives. So the municipal council consists of broadly three types of members. Municipal council consists of broadly three types of members. One, directly elected representatives from the people. The people directly elect representatives to this council through their wards. So they are directly elected people, directly elected representatives. And second, co-opted members. The council is, in addition to the directly elected representatives, the council have the co-opted members and ex officio members. So who are the co-opted members? Co-opted members means the people who have knowledge, special knowledge on, or special knowledge or experience on municipal administration. The people who have special knowledge on knowledge or experience on municipal administration, they are generally nominated by the state government to these bodies as co-opted members. Whereas ex officio members means by virtue of their position, automatically they will become members in the municipal council. Because they are, by virtue of their position, automatically they will become members in the council. They are the area MLA, MLC, and the MP. Understand? And municipal commissioner. So by virtue of their position, they will become automatically members. So, in simple, broadly, what we can draw attention is the municipal council consists of 3 types of members. One, the people directly elects through their wards to council. They are called directly elected members. And second, co-opted members, which are nominated by the concerned state government. And ex officio members, by virtue of their position, automatically they will become members in the municipal council. So, elected members are mandatory. In municipality, elected members are mandatory. That means in any state, in any town or any urban area, these elected members are mandatory. Whereas the co-opted members and ex officio members, their representation in the municipal council, it is the discretion of the state government. In some states, the co-opted members and ex officio members, their role in council is different based on the decision taken by the concerned state government. So, in administration, municipality vests in the council. So, the total administration of a town or city is vested on the municipal council, whether it is a small or large urban area, whatever it may be. Because that is a deliberative body, they are the policy making body. So they will make policies. Those policies are implemented by executive wing of the urban local body. So that's why in every state there is a municipal act of the state which specifies the powers, functions, and duties of the municipal council. So every state has a municipal act. In conformity to 74th Constitutional Amendment, they are amended. So which specifies the powers, functions, and duties of the municipal council, whether in larger cities or small cities. So In voting aspect, the co-opted members in generally these members do not have voting right. Co-opted members, which are nominated by the state government, by having the experience and knowledge on municipal administration, but they can participate in the deliberations of the municipal council, but they don't have right to vote. Whereas in ex officio members, the voting right of ex officio members is left to the discretion of the state government. In some states, they can participate in the voting. In some other states, they can't participate in the voting. Only they can participate in the deliberations of the council. So, which vary from state to state depending upon the municipal act of the concerned state. This is for the composition of municipal council, whether in town or city or major urban areas. So in the election process also, there are reservations. So the reservations for SC and STs depending upon the population of that area. So reservation of seats to SC and STs on the basis of their population in that particular urban area. That means in the municipality, in the municipal corporation. So based on the population of their SC and ST population, the reservations are, seats are reserved for such communities. And as per the 74th Amendment Act, 1/3 of the seats are reserved to women. 1/3 of the seats are reserved to women. And reservation to backward classes is also left to the discretion of the state government. That's why in most of the states in recent times, 50% of reservations being provided to the reserved seats. And 50% of seats are reserved to, given to the reserved communities, reserved seats. For example, the Telangana Municipal Act 2019 provides for 50% of reservation for women. So keeping the women empowerment in mind. So the Telangana government has assigned, has given in its act 50% of reservations for women. So since reservations are constitutional, so for SC, ST, BC, and women, these reservations are followed in the elections of municipal council. And tenure is 5 years. The tenure of municipal council is 5 years. To conduct the rural elections to rural and urban local bodies, the 74th Constitutional Amendment established an institution called State Election Commission. So the State Election Commission is responsible for conducting the elections to urban local bodies. So in deliberative wing, we have discussed one institution, that is municipal council, how it forms, how the elections are conducted to that, and what is the composition of municipal council, how reservations are followed. All these things we have discussed regarding municipal council. This is one of the institution related to deliberative. The second is mayor or chairperson. These positions also comes under deliberative wing. So in municipal corporation, the political executive is called mayor. Mayor and deputy mayor, they are political executives of municipal corporations. So municipal corporations for big cities and towns, big cities and metropolis. So that's why there you can observe mayor and deputy mayors. They act as political executives. And in municipalities and nagar panchayats, the political executive is called chairperson and the deputy chairperson. So in nagar panchayats and in municipalities, the political executive is called chairperson. Whereas in municipal corporations, that is in towns and that is in cities and metropolis, there we will call political executive as mayor. So their method of election, powers and functions, both are similar, whether they are chairperson of a municipality or a mayor of a corporation. The difference is only the area, bigger area and smaller area, bigger urban area and smaller urban. But the powers and functions of both the positions, mayor and chairperson, are similar. So the election to these positions may be either direct or indirect. Mostly it is indirect. In most of the states, it's indirect. That means the people who elected from wards by the people represent people. So the representatives, they in turn, they will elect the mayor or chairperson. In some states, there may be a direct election for mayor and municipal chairperson. So it varies from state to state, but by and large, we can see mostly through indirect elections only, the mayor and chairpersons are elected. The powers and functions of these posts, mayor and chairpersons, you can see in your study material pages 51 and 52, they clearly mentioned the powers and functions of the mayor and chairpersons. So this council will meet in the municipal office for transaction of business. Council meetings are held at the municipal office to transact the business. It may be fixed the date and time of the meeting. So the mayor and chairperson, mayor or chairperson who is concerned to that, they preside over the meetings. If in their absence, their deputies will be head the meetings. So there are 3 types of council meetings. One is ordinary meetings. That means for every month, for a specific duration, continuously the meetings will be held. Those are called ordinary meetings. And some urgent meetings, if any special attention need to be paid. So particularly in floods and some natural calamities, which certain things happens, the council will meet urgently to take decisions to resolve the issues raised by the situation, to raise to the situation. And third, requisition meetings. Sometimes people will request, the members of the council will request the chairperson to conduct a meeting to discuss a special issue. So for that purpose, there is a requisition meetings. So broadly, there are ordinary meetings and urgent meetings and requisition meetings. Generally, council meetings will be held in such a manner. And the agenda for the meeting is prepared by the commissioner in consultation with the concerned mayor or chairperson. And 1/3 of the members, generally the quorum of the meeting, conducting the meeting. That means 1/3 of the members should present to conduct the meeting. Otherwise, the meeting will not be valid. So the quorum for the conducting of meeting is 1/3 of the members. As a general principle, all questions are decided by the majority of members present and voting. So all the decisions are taken, all the questions are decided by majority of vote, majority of members present and voting in the meeting. There may be variation in certain aspects of, and the proceedings of the council are recorded in the minutes book. The proceedings of the council meetings are recorded in the minutes book. So this is the process of working of municipal council. So we discussed the composition of municipal council and also the process of conducting of the municipal council meetings and the functions is. So the urban local bodies traditionally undertake civic functions. Whether it is an urban local body or a rural local body, they are near to the people. They will undertake civic functions. What are the civic functions? Civic functions means sanitation, road maintenance, bridges maintenance, water supply, drainage. That means basically a maintenance functions. Basically, the maintenance functions are, you can also call them as physical services. Physical services. Those are the traditional functions of local bodies, whether it is urban local bodies or rural local bodies. But in addition to these physical services, they also have regulatory functions, particularly urban local bodies, which also undertake regulatory functions. Regulatory functions means land use and sanctioning of building permissions, giving of licenses, trade licenses, and registration of births and deaths, slum improvement. These are all comes under regulatory functions of the municipal council, urban local bodies. So the in addition to that, these functions, the 74th Constitutional Amendment, I already told, a list of 18 functions of the urban local bodies are given in the 12th schedule of the Act. So the municipal functions generally divided into two categories. One, obligatory functions and discretionary functions. So what are obligatory functions? Obligatory functions means compulsorily performed by the urban local bodies, which are compulsory. The urban local bodies have to perform these functions, which are called obligatory functions of the urban local bodies. And discretionary means the name itself is explaining that it can be performed based on availability of the resources. If the resources are not available, the urban local body cannot perform these discretionary functions. Nobody can question it also because of depth of resources. Particularly the municipal in urban administration, performing the obligatory functions itself is a challenging task for urban local bodies due to various resource crunch. Forget about the discretionary powers. Though the discretionary powers are important, but the resource crunch comes on the way to perform those functions. Particularly in your study material, 54 and 55 pages explains about the obligatory functions of the urban local bodies and discretionary functions of the urban local bodies. If you read, you can easily understand the functions. So in addition to this municipal council, the 74th Constitutional Amendment created another two institutions related to the deliberative wing. There are ward committees and area sabhas. Ward committees and area sabhas. So, as for 74th Constitutional Amendment, as for 74th Constitutional Amendment, ward committee will be constituted for the population consisting of more than 3 lakhs. In a town or a city, if the population is more than 3 lakhs, a ward committee is constituted. Not only for that, 2 or such wards also combinedly they can form these ward committees. We can found generally 1 or 2 such ward committees in cities. So the ward committees can be constituted, each ward which is having more than 3 lakhs population, or for a group of wards of urban local bodies, which comes more than 3 lakhs population. So ward committees, which are ward committees and area sabhas, which are more intended to decentralize the administration and involve people in the governance, to enhance the people's participation in the governance, to decentralize the administration. These ward committees and area sabhas are established in urban local bodies. The ward committees are aimed at to enlist community participation in development, because in now the developmental discourse, we can see the participative development. That means people should participate in the developmental process. Without the people's participation, development is not at all possible, whether it is at the national level or state level or local level, specifically at the local level. Because people's participation is need of the hour. So to enlist this people's participation, these ward committees and local area sabhas, which brings local leadership, which inculcate people to participate in the governance and increase the participation of people to achieve the developmental goals at the local level. So, to institutionalize this citizens' participation, the concept of area sabhas is introduced below the ward. At ward level, you have the ward committees meetings. Below the ward level, you have these area sabhas, which are intended to institutionalize citizens' participation in the governance process. So, where these area sabhas, ward committees, and municipal council work effectively, there you can see a good urban governance, in particular in that urban local body. So the effectiveness of good governance, urban good governance, depends in turn on the effectiveness of functioning of area sabhas, ward committees, and municipal council. So regarding the details of these ward committees are clearly discussed in your study material in pages 55, 56, 57. So you can easily understand by studying that material about how the ward committees are composed and what are the functions of the ward committees and what are the functions of the area sabha, all these things. But in addition to all these, we have discussed the structural aspect of the urban local bodies, how it functions and what are its powers and functions and duties, how a good governance, good urban governance can be achieved. All these things we have discussed in detail. But finally, we have to discuss the major issues and challenges related to the urban local bodies. In the first class itself, we have discussed when urbanization is inevitable phenomenon and emerging phenomena and the global phenomena, it exists some challenges and issues. When urban population is increasing, simultaneously the urban infrastructure is not growing. As a result, there is a gap between the demand and supply, and it results the poor quality. In turn, there is a criticism on the functioning of urban local bodies. So there are several issues and challenges in the working of urban local bodies. First, though there is a state election commission established by 74th Constitutional Amendment in almost all the states, but there is a delayed elections and absence of regular elections for one reason or the other. So still the democratic process, democratic culture is not emerged at the local level for regular conducting of the elections to these bodies. For one or the other reason, when the time is over, regularly the elections are not, delayed elections are taking place, in spite of having state election commission to conduct the elections to urban and local, rural local bodies. This is one. As a result, after term is over, special officers are appointed, and those special officers are under the control of the state government. So, as a result, the purpose of decentralized democracy has lost. So this is one of the major issues related to urban local bodies. Second, though in the 12th schedule of the Act, 18 functions are assigned to the urban local bodies, but most of the state governments are unwilling to assign those functions to urban local bodies. The pretext either one reason or the other. And third, though there is a state finance commission created by 74th Constitutional Amendment, those commissions also not effectively functioning, and they are not properly distributing finances between the state government and local bodies and among the local bodies. So they are not submitting, in some states, they are not submitting even annual reports. So this is another major issue related to the urban local bodies. And even the council meetings also not holding regularly. That means ward committees and area sabhas and municipal councils, they are not regularly conducting meetings and doing, and they are not deliberating their activities in time. So this is it. And the law, another important thing is the paucity of funds. That means the depth of funds to take up all the functions assigned to the urban local bodies, whether it is a obligatory function or a discretionary function. To undertake functions, resources are important. Financial resources, funds are important. So these funds there is a resource crunch. As a result, they are not effectively performing the functions. As a result, in low urban areas are full of problems, and people are not getting basic necessities and amenities. Their basic functions are not fulfilled by the urban local bodies. So in spite of it, you can see there is an improvement in India, the functioning of urban local bodies after the enactment of landmark constitutional amendments 73rd and 74th. It is in the process. We can't come to a conclusion that, but when compared to the prior to the 74th, 73rd constitutional amendments, now urban local bodies and rural local bodies are functioning far better, and which are exercising their functions, and the people's awareness also has increased. So there is we will hope there will be a better future for these bodies to serve the people at the local level more effectively in years to come. Thank you.